Hello, my name is Michael Lisicky. I am the second oboist with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, and I have been asked to give a demonstration and lecture and talk and tips and everything about the upcoming audition for the BSYO, Baltimore Symphony Youth Orchestra. And I've been handed a packet that I would like to go through and at least give you some tips and give you a little bit of encouragement, hopefully. And let's just kind of go through this. And always, as I will say to anybody, before we even get to looking at auditions and performing this for somebody, I hope you have listened to this. Now, looking through this part and what we have here, there are some real technical aspects that are with these parts, especially with the Ravel. And the main lyrical one is the Coleridge-Taylor, the Petite suites, which let's get to that in a bit. But one of the glories, I think, of playing second oboe is that I don't have to play some of these higher octaves. So, so neither do I have to do the one with but I've certainly heard it before. Now, let me just see how the reed's going. Just kind of get a little idea, because I don't want to just put this reed in my mouth and expect to play all these notes. Because when I look through, this first excerpt, let's look at that. And you have that, you have that high E towards the end. And then the second excerpt, this is the pictures at an exhibition, you are going up to high F from the B, or I should say C flat there. Let's talk about that a little bit later. Well, let's start looking at this. This is the very first excerpt of Pictures at an Exhibition. Now, I will not go against what your teacher is telling you. And I do things my way, he or she does things their way. I can only give you tips with what works with me. And what I have not shied away with, if I don't do it often, is the fork F. And I look at it in this excerpt if I were to have to play it. And that's what would get me through the first, all of the 16th note passages to get them smooth. So, looking at that second measure, I'm going to use, I should say, the fork E sharp. And this is how I can get it on the smoother side. This is me. That's by using the left F. That were the left E sharp. That is your other option. Now, okay, so that's what I do. The trick with the fork F for me, and I hope I'm not irritating any of your teachers or or you or anybody, is to make sure that note doesn't sound like an F, fork F, because that's what you want to get. You need some life to it, but this is moving along. Now, this is a technical audition, and you don't want to rush your second measure. That's going to be your tendency. But you need a sense of urgency, so you need to fool people. So I look at this. You look at the beginning, because you are doing this in double with the other woodwinds, and you don't want to go. This all has to move forward in time, but have the sense that always kind of pushing it or having the feeling of going forward. If you're working well with your vibrato. But then you don't have, then that second measure, you could take a little edge off of it and it'll still sound like it's moving along. lose me there. I mean, this is obviously something you have to practice, and as I did. And, but that's what I need, the build. Give it that forward motion with a da-dum, ba-dum. So then, that can kind of take easy and still look like it's moving forward. Then again, I choose to use the fork in there because it helps me play it smoother. Then again, I'm the second oboist in the Baltimore Symphony, so I am not required to play that, but I need to know it. Looking ahead, I know I had a little flobble at the end of that second line. And because that is all building. You are building, 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 and you better be building because people are going to be paying attention to that. And you get to that high E, which wants to be... If you're not building and you don't have the air and you don't have the embouchure, you're not going to get the high E. And that, with me, of course, to make it a little easier, I have to do the right hand E, not the... I'm not going to slide. I should get I'm trying to show the camera. That's how that works for me. But never, don't rush that faster passage. At the very end. Just give something to that. Da-dum, ba-dum. Try to give it, even if you don't have the vibrato, give it that sense. So that's what I would say about that excerpt. And, okay, so that's technical. So you got to get that down without rushing the 16th thing. Looking at the next one that you have for the pictures at an exhibition. Again, another technical excerpt, but of course you're going to be drawn to that very last measure. As a luxury, I get to go, but I still got to do that. But they want you to play the octave up. And in order to get that is to practice it and to make sure you are getting off of that half hole. If you're not, this is to the high F. That's what happens if you're not clearing it. If you are not getting your finger off of that high F or the half hole, that's what's going to come out for your high F. And that's even harder. I know, I shouldn't do that. I don't like doing that because that tenses you up. And if I were to see you and hear you play, I'd be, whoa! No, none of that. So I'm not doing the best example there, but... working at clearing that half hole. That's another one. Bottom. Giving that. This is the same as the other one, where you're needing to push, give the feeling that it's pushing forward. But that's for you to work on and get that smooth. But that is not going to come out unless you clear the half hole. This is the high F. And for me, it involves giving it a little bit more of a bite. Then again, I am not going to go against anything what your teacher says. Looking at that Bartok. Know the piece. Know the duet. Know the dynamics. And especially the sudden change between that third and fourth measure. That's another one there. It's not... And then at 33, it is much louder. Then you better do it louder than the beginning. yes, I'm slowing down, and I'm doing that for a purpose because this all has to be steady, by the way. But I want you to treat some of those pickups. So it gets steady, but it still has some direction. And that is a full 4 measures minus an eighth. Do not give up early. Looking ahead, the Coleridge-Taylor, because I haven't studied it and I haven't seen it in an audition, but it's your lyrical excerpt for the oboe excerpts on this BSYO audition. So we get to listen. I mean, in order for me to say anything about it, I had to listen to it. It's about, what, 3-4 minutes into the piece. Get it on YouTube just to listen to it. Yeah, I mean, here's another instance of having to clear that half hole in that that high C going to the D. You don't want to poop out there. Excuse me. So let's try this. All right, so that's what I did. After playing for years, I have been able to learn how to get my wind going. I do not circular breathe. You may have learned it. You may have started doing it. And so for this, I'm okay as long as I take a nice tankful after or right before that F sharp. So I don't expect you to make it all the way through. And I don't want you to personally, I'd rather not have you breathe when you're in that measure 28. You have that G, because that's you. All of this is doubled. That is you. So I'd rather not have a break in there because you're just kind of hanging off. So what would I recommend for you to do? You're running out of air. I would think of tanking up before you have that first line of this Coleridge-Taylor excerpt. You have two measures in that first line. I'd rather have you breathe after the D in order to tank up to get to the rest. That's still going to be an effort, and it's still going to require air. Personally, that's what I would do. It's imperfect, but as long as you make it sound okay, it'll work. So if I look at that F sharp, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th measure into this excerpt. So I just think not too much of a break. Come in the same dynamic. That's what I would recommend. A little water in there for having to perform this. If I don't expect you to get all the way through, it's hard, especially if you don't circular breathe, and that's okay. I just rather have it make sense. Going on, just looking about it. And of course, what I didn't mention is look at your dynamics between the very opening and 26. You better have a pianissimo and you better have a fortissimo. So, looking ahead. It's kind of straightforward. Listen to it, and I think you'll be able to get an idea. Listen to it enough so that you want it going through your head, the little accompaniment there. I'm going to look ahead at the English horn part and just say a few things about this Pictures at an Exhibition excerpt. Let me play a few notes. Okay, so looking at this, your very opening of this is 1, 2, 3, 4 after 24. I don't know why they have that bracketed. They may have it bracketed for a reason. With English horn, you got to do some things. I've played a lot of English horn in my life. You got to blow. And you got to kind of round out. Everything's, in a way, it's like oboe, but it's the proportions are different. So I don't want you, you're coming off, that beautiful melody, you're coming on, you got that sax part in there, and then you got that flute, you're taking it away off the, oh, my English there, from the flute part, I think they want to hear it, so you're not. So what do? You have an embouchure, you get some air, give it a little bit of a bite, round out the back. It's kind of like a recipe. Here's another thing, and maybe this is a theme to this audition, clearing that half hole, or what we have on the English horn is a half hole, so you can get that smooth. And the same going on in here. Another theme to this audition is the fact that maybe I don't want to play left F for everything. Oh, I hope I'm not getting in trouble by saying that. And but I want this smooth. And the other thing that's going to stick out is if your B flat, high B flat coming up is flat. For me, I add the middle finger in my right hand as a way to stabilize the high B flat. That B flat's low, you're going to hear it. And not so much on the C coming up. And that's why I get that you want to have a right hand A flat on there. And then you have the B flat coming up. That's got to be at the pitch, not. No, that's kind of what the English horn wants to do. Let me play a little bit just of this melody. A little softer. Also, I think by adding that middle finger on the high B flat, it gives me something to blow against. So then I can afford to have a little bit more of some air going there, so I don't have to be afraid of it. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts for this audition. Yeah, you're going to have to work out, just as I would have needed to, the pictures at an exhibition. That's technical. You know that. And what I told you just kind of is what makes it work for me. Then again, I tend to play the lower octaves, and this is just the first oboe part that goes along with the other solo winds. Looking at that again, just one peak. And then, that's nice. Probably easier I did it in context, but then given that right hand E, better stay close to those keys there. That's what I can say. Yes, it's a technical audition. That's how I see it. And that means you got to play it smooth, and you got to give it some direction. And I think you can manipulated here as far as giving it that direction, making it sound like a song, than just being too strict with it. Make some music with it, have some fun with it, get it going in your ear. Of course, steady is good, but play this stuff, especially that Coleridge-Taylor, as if you were to sing it. So, with that said, good luck with the upcoming audition. Can't wait to hopefully meet you and to hopefully meet you in person and have you guys all play in person. I think that's something very hopeful to look forward to. So, all right, good luck, have fun, and best wishes for a successful audition. This is Michael Lisicky with the Baltimore Symphony.